Hello Hunters, Autobot Dawson here, ready to roll out a new video for you. And in today's Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak video, we're going to be completely breaking down, in a very simple and user-friendly way, the build and gameplay loop of the Elemental Dual Blades. Now, if you find this useful, subscribing would be a big help. We are a water dual blades user primarily, so that's the example we're going to use here today. But that doesn't actually mean that this build only works for water. Simply put, anytime I mention water attack, replace that with whatever element you want to use. And if you do that, this build is universal and will work for everything. We're not going to be going over specific armor piece choices because that would require a very extensive look into all 5 elements. Instead, I'm going to be showing you what skills you want to focus on so that you can make a mixed armor set of your choice. Now, this is my opinion, but I do find it to be a very effective setup, so keep that in mind. Alright, so our number one most important skill that you want to pay attention to is water attack, or in this case, we're going to call it elemental attack, whatever element it is for you, whether that be water, fire, thunder, dragon, whatever it may be in your case. So, water attack needs to be maxed out at level 5. What that is doing is that is giving you a huge percentage increase to your elemental attack. You also have critical element that you want to make sure you get up max, which is at level 3. That is going to increase the amount of affinity and damage that you're essentially doing when you are using elemental dual blades. You're going to want to use weakness exploit at level 3 if you can. Weakness exploit increases the damage that is done, increasing the affinity that is done when you're targeting a monster's weak spot. And then critical boost and critical eye further those critical damages even further. So if you can manage it, the 5 most important skills to max out for an elemental dual blades build, in my opinion, is water attack, or whichever element you're using, at level 5, critical element at level 3, weakness exploit at level 3, critical boost at level 3, and critical eye at level 7. To pull this off, pay attention to the skills that come with your armor as you take a look. So, like for example, in this one, you know, this armor is already coming with some great skills. So pay attention to that, and then add jewels on top of it that get you the rest of the way there. So, with those skills in mind, we also have some extra ones that are extremely important. Now, I would almost say that burst at level 3 is borderline needed. It increases the damage of all of your critical attacks if you land a certain number of attacks in a row, which is fantastic for dual blades because you're attacking at such a high frequency with your moves that this is going to basically always be active for you. So burst at level 3, I would say, is the 6th most important skill, but is borderline required for your build if you have the slots and the necessary talismans to get it done. So there's burst. And then for some extra skills that I think synergize really well with this build, I have speed sharpening at level 3, making it to where I can use my whetstone only one sharpen motion, one sharpen animation brings it all the way back up, which is fantastic because dual blades wears through sharpness very fast. I also have Wirebug Whisperer maxed out at level 3, allowing me to use my Silkbind moves much more. I also happen to have recovery speed at level 3, which is nice. It increases my health regeneration, but really isn't related to this build. It just so happens that I have it up there. We also have Fortify, Wall Runner, and Affinity Sliding. Some other skills, but again, the most important ones are Water Attack, Critical Eye, Critical Element, Critical Boost, Weakness Exploit, and Burst, followed by Wirebug Whisperer and Speed Sharpening as what I would call utility skills. So, those are the skills you want to focus on. As for the weapon, choose the Elemental Dual Blades weapon that works best for you. There are technically meta options, which feel free to look those up. However, I am definitely a fan of using the weapon that works best for your style. I love the Dark Aurora Plus Water Dual Blades, so that's what I use. Alright, I'm not going to get into curious crafting. That'll be for a separate video. But essentially, always go for increasing your elemental attack when using curious crafting. And then on your rampage slot for your jewel, you know, Bloody Jewel, the new one, is great for if you're doing anomaly investigations because it's going to increase your attack whenever you have Blood Blight. But you can also go for Elmbane, which is really good because if you're targeting a monster that has an extreme weakness to the element you're using, this will increase your attack even further. So Elmbane, Bloody Jewel are both really good options. Or there's Wyvern Jewel, which is also really good because that's going to increase your attack against almost every monster type in the game, with the exception of, I believe, Elder Dragons. Alright, you guys, so that is sort of the setup for the skills. To summarize, Dual Blades Elemental is all about elemental attack and keeping your criticals as high as possible. Now let's get into the actual gameplay loop, if you will. So, the way the gameplay loop is going to really work for Dual Blades, I'm going to keep this extremely, extremely simple because I don't want to overcomplicate things. Set up your skills in this way when you're using Elemental Dual Blades. On one scroll, put your more grounded moves on, which you are not going to be using as often. I repeat, you're not going to be using the grounded moves as often. So go with Iron Shine Silk, Piercing Bind, Round Slash Combo, Demon Flurry Rush, and you can actually keep Demon Mode on instead of Feral, even on the grounded one. I just like to have all the moves on. But you actually want to make sure that you are in Demon Mode all the time. So on the scroll that you're using the most, be sure that it's Demon Mode. Now, these are going to be the combos you want to use most often. Demon Flight, Demon Mode, Slide Slash Combo, though this isn't really a major part of the moveset. And then here's the bread and butter right here. Spiral Slash, Shrouded Vault. Demon Flight, Demon Mode, Spiral Slash, and Shrouded Vault are your most important moves for an aerial elemental dual blades playstyle. So let's get into how this works, you guys. The first thing I like to do is, and this is, again, the reason that I actually put my grounded moves that I don't use as much on red scroll, is because I want to use my Iron Shine Silk right away when I go into combat. Now, whenever I dodge or counter a move, I'll replenish my sharpness. On my main scroll, you want to open up a combo most of the time by going into Demon Mode by hitting ZR. And so now you're in Demon Mode, you have increased quickness, but your stamina is constantly draining. Then by pressing A, you go into Demon Flight, and by pressing A again, you get Mid-Air Spinning Blade Dance, which, as you can see on the white bar below my stamina bar, almost completely filled up with simply one combo. So Demon Mode, Demon Flight, and Mid-Air Spinning Blade Dance fill up your bar. Now you have access to Arc Demon Mode. See how that red bar goes down? But my normal stance, even when I'm out of Demon Mode, is giving me speed boosts. And when I dodge here, easy dodges. It's giving me access to Demon Flight and a Spinning Blade Dance finisher. It's also giving me access to Demon Flurry 1, 2, and 3, which are like a different version of the Blade Dance move. Essentially, what Arc Demon Mode is, it's a slightly less powerful version of Demon Mode that you're able to use to consistently put out damage. So, what's the gameplay loop here, you guys? Well, number one, you want to make sure that you don't let that red go completely out anytime you want. So if you see it draining, as it does over time, go into Demon Mode. That'll stop it from draining. And make sure to keep an eye on your stamina. And when the coast is clear, to use some high stamina attacks, go for Mid-Air Spinning Blade Dance or something along those lines and fill up your red bar again. Now, finally, as for your burst DPS move, the move for your most damage, that's going to be Spiral Slash, which is your X on your wire bug attacks. Now, Demon Mode gives Elemental Dual Blades actually a huge damage increase. As you can see, the damage numbers went up big time once in Demon Mode. So try to fight in Demon Mode as much as you can, hit Spiral Slash as much as you can, and you can use Spiral Slash and Demon Flight Spinning Blade Dance in order to keep your Demon Mode up. Okay? So that's the loop. Use Demon Flight Mid-Air Spinning Blade Dance combo by pressing A twice when in Demon Mode to keep your Demon Bar up. Once your Demon Bar is up, you can now use Arc Demon Mode to get around without a constant need to drain your stamina. And in either mode, though preferably demon mode for extra damage, you can use Spiral Slash to do the most damage. It's a huge 12 to 15 hit combo that just does a ton of damage. There's also lots of other great attacks for dual blades, like the Slide Slash combo, the Demon Fangs, you know, your basic combos here. But again, we're going over the gameplay loop of how you want to actually hunt the monsters. Now, for your utility move, and this is a big one, Shrouded Vault is your A on your Wirebug move. So it consumes a Wirebug, which is why I like Wirebug Whisperer. If you time Shrouded Vault when a monster is attacking or even roaring, I kid you not, it will negate any attack in the game. One of the very earliest videos I ever uploaded on the channel was a short of me doing this and countering a aerial ambush from the Crimson Glow Valstrax in Master Rank. So that was pretty awesome and is an extreme example of just how much stuff this move can counter. It will completely negate damage when you're doing that, and it also actually counters into a little bit of a hit combo too, so you're putting out some damage as you do it. And thanks to Iron Shine Silk, whenever you successfully do a counter, you're also restoring sharpness to your blade. So that's why keeping Iron Shine Silk on, while not required, is helpful. So again, to summarize you guys, keep your Demon Gauge up by doing Demon Flight, Midair Spinning Blade Dance, and Spiral Slashes in Demon mode. Then you have access to Archdemon mode to easily dodge and do heavy damage attacks without draining your stamina. And when the coast is clear for you to not worry about your stamina as much, or you get a big opportunity like the monster's stunned, go back into Demon mode and hit Spiral Slash for maximum burst DPS. One last thing. You can also do this combo, though it does take a lot of time. If a monster is KO'd, it's a really good time to do it. You do Piercing Bind. Well, didn't hit there. Let me let the Wirebug charge back up here. On one scroll, you can use the Piercing Bind move and then skill switch swap, skill swap back to Spiral Slash for an insane damage combo. So you stick the kunai in there, and then you attack that critical spot, and look at all that damage. Big time damage, you guys. So that's a sort of big combo at an expert level once you get comfortable with the basic gameplay loop of dual blades. Alright, you guys. That is pretty much a summary of elemental dual blades. Again, you want to use elemental attack or water attack, whatever element you're using for your skills, along with elemental exploit, weakness exploit, critical element, rather, I meant critical element, not elemental exploit. So water attack, critical element, weakness exploit, critical boost, and critical eye, and burst. And then if you have the extra slots, speed sharpening and Wirebug Whisperer are also a big help. And then for the gameplay loop, keep that Demon Gauge up by attacking you with your big combos in Demon mode, and use Spiral Slash for burst DPS damage. And remember that Shrouded Vault is your get out of jail free card. If you master timing Shrouded Vault, you will be untouchable, and you'll be able to do runs where you hunt absolutely the hardest monsters in the game without taking much damage at all. Dual Blades is a fantastic weapon when used properly, you guys, and I definitely believe elemental Dual Blades is the way to go in the Sunbreak meta. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and found it useful. That is really all I have for you today. I really appreciate you stopping by. This is Autobot Dawson and his Palamutes rolling out.